Welcome to Mind Body Monday, and it's really nice to see all your faces here today. And if you're watching a replay, it's lovely that you're here as well. So the purpose of tonight's Mind Body Monday, rather the topic in today's session, is somewhat sensitive. It's the topic of bloating and gas. I will be covering 4 myths about bloating to unlearn, and 5 possible reasons why you could feel bloated and what to do about it. And then there's going to be some live Q&A towards the end. But just before I get started, I want to announce, which I'm very excited about, my long-awaited Heal Your Gut program. So if you're interested in learning more about the Heal Your Gut program, go ahead and just type "I'm interested" in the chat, and I'll come back to you with some more info. So the question is, how can it be that a person can eat healthy and have a healthy lifestyle, so to speak, and still be suffering from excessive gas or bloating and possible discomfort? Now, just before we dive into our topic, we're going to do a quick Kahoot style survey. So go ahead and type in the chat, true or false. And if you see me looking over to the side, that's because I've got 2 screens. So true or false, just go ahead and type in. The first one is malodorous gas is a sign of illness. True or false? And if you're listening to the replay, you can answer out or put it in the comments. Okay, and as you're typing that in the chat, the next one, so someone's written depends. Okay, we got some politicians here. So Kahoot doesn't have a depends in this particular game. So someone else, Neki, has written true and false. Okay, so you only get to choose one. The second question on true and false is explosive flatulence is a sign of illness. True or false? No politicians, please. And number 3, go ahead, true or false? Excessive gas is unhealthy. True or false? Okay, Neki's written in true. Very good, Neki. Okay, we'll see. Last one for our Kahoots for this evening is constipation is the cause of bad gas. True or false? Okay, so as you type false, true, false, true, and I haven't had any depends. Okay, so hang on to your seats a little bit here. Now, I have a few really funny jokes about this topic that I share in my private practice, but I'll be honest with you, my eye jokes are a lot more cornier. Did you get that one? Okay. So for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Avraham Gundle. I'm the founder and director for the Center for Integrated Medicine. I'm trained as an osteopath and naturopath, and I practice functional and integrated medicine. And over the last 30 years or so, I've been privileged to have helped many people heal and go into full remission from a whole host of chronic health challenges, be it digestive issues, which is my main focus, but also autoimmune diseases, eczema, type 2 diabetes, heart conditions, etc. Now, recently, one of my patients was wished a hearty mazel tov and congratulations by a casual friend. The friend noticed that thought that she was expecting, but it was really a distended belly from a very uncomfortable gas buildup. This is a true story, a very awkward and uncomfortable situation. Granted, it's a drop extreme, but these are the sorts of cases that come to me in my clinic and can get all the help that's available and fully reverse these conditions. I frequently have patients consulting me with excessive gas, bloating, discomfort, trapped air, etc. And according to the Cleveland Clinic, one of the biggest factors that contribute to gas buildup in the gut actually comes from carbohydrates not being properly digested. So here are a few things to consider. If you eat too fast, the wrong foods or the wrong food combinations, or have a food allergy or sensitivity, or an underlying GI disorders, then the more undigested sugars may get further along into the digestive tract and cannot be adequately handled by the digestive system. If this happens, sugars then ferment, break down, and this creates excessive gas in the process. I want to do some myth busting here, but before I do that, I want to just create a baseline for what's normal, because a lot of my patients' questions can actually be answered by understanding, what is this really about, what's normal and what's not so normal. So flatulence, gas, is a completely normal part of the digestive process. In fact, it's a byproduct of digestion and bacteria buildup and breakdown of products when the digestive process and the bacteria break down sugars and polysaccharides and they go into the colon. And people can make things worse for themselves also, because gas can accumulate throughout the day when people swallow air, as in when laughing, let's say, or drinking from a straw, or slurping hot liquids like soup or coffee or tea, or yes, even chewing gum. So another statistic, and leave it to the scientists to figure out how they did that, but on average, a healthy adult will pass wind approximately 21 times a day. So this sort of normalizes this awkward, sensitive topic. But I just want to caveat that because this is so much part of our daily life, there are many halachas, many religious laws governing our behavior around this topic, especially when it comes to prayer and specifically for men whilst wearing tefillin. So this wouldn't really be discussed deeply if it wasn't really a normal part of our life. And a lot of good sagely counsel is given how to conduct oneself. For today, we're going to look at some of the medical aspects and some key take-homes. So let's look at some myth debunking. So if you answer true or false, let's see what your answer came out to. So the first question was, malodorous gas is a sign of illness. This is false. Foods such as meat, eggs, cabbage, onions, garlic can increase the amount and odor of gas. Now, why is this so? Because these foods are largely very high in sulfur. And sulfur, if you've ever been to the Dead Sea, has a unique aroma to it. So these foods, when digested, that sulfur is released. And as healthy as sulfur is to help the liver and detox the body, it can also have the side effect if the digestive system is impaired. Also, excessive fatty foods can have the same effect. The second myth bust is explosive flatulence is a sign of illness. Now, this is where the politicians actually were a little bit correct. Okay. In most cases, explosive gas is not a sign of colorectal disease. Rather, it's simply related to the amount of gas that is built up in the body. And the reason for this may be based on physiology, really how much gas a person can tolerate. Different people's bodies tolerate different amounts, but also the strength of the sphincter muscles. This also has a lot to do with the topic. A caveat here though, if a person feels persistent pressure and noticeable fullness in the area when there's no need to pass a bowel motion, then this is a sign of needing further inquiry with your healthcare provider. So the third myth is excessive gas is unhealthy. So all of you who answered false, that is the true answer. But holding this back over the long term is not a good idea and can lead to bloating, even rectal pain, and extreme cases, distension of the colon, which can have other knock-on side effects of the colon, which is not such a good idea. And then the last myth is constipation causes bad gas. And the answer really is, the research says it's true, but I'm going to say it's partially true. Constipation can trigger gas by increasing the fermentation process of foods in the digestive system, because foods are in the colon for much more time. And since they are in the colon for more time, then there's more time for fermentation, putrefaction, and then the accompanying gas can amount and be somewhat unpleasant. So that's a sort of intro and myth busting exercise and also really to normalize this part of our physiology. Today is Mind Body Monday. So let's all take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, just relax your shoulders, feel your back against the back of the chair. And take a nice deep breath in again. Hold it at the top for a moment. And breathing out through pursed lips. And continue to breathe normally. Now you notice when you take a nice deep cleansing breath in, you may feel a drop calmer or more centered or more focused. The increased oxygen stimulates your brain and also calms your digestive system by stimulating the vagus nerve, which I'm going to come on to in a little bit. Wonderful. So let's look at 5 possible reasons why a person could feel bloated and what to do about it. Now, there are many, many reasons. In fact, in preparation for this mind-body session, I came across at least 25. So in the interest of time, I've just chosen 5 of my favorites. However, I had to leave a few of my favorites out as well. So the first of the 5 possible reasons is why a person can feel bloated is to really ask yourself the question, are you eating too fast? You see, our stomach was not designed to digest chunks of food. There's 2 kinds of digestive processes. There's mechanical digestion, which happens in the mouth by the teeth chomping and grinding food. And then there's chemical digestion, which happens in the stomach. So what the teeth don't manage to do, because a person is not chewing sufficiently, we'll get to that, but eating too fast, then the chemicals in the digestive system will not be able to do an efficient job. Also, when a person is eating too fast, they are probably swallowing more air, and that goes into the digestive system and then will cause additional bloating, etc. So the key part here about eating too fast is also, if a person's not chewing sufficiently, then that food won't be digested properly. And if that food's not digested properly, then the nutrients in that food won't be absorbed into the bloodstream. So the body's vitality and health will dwindle, because even though they may be eating, let's say, wholesome foods, and that's an assumption, but if they are, that food won't be fully digested, and therefore the body won't be able to get the benefit of that fully, and also it will put a lot of strain on the digestive system. So what's the take home? Chew more. And I tell my patients to really chew your food to baby food consistency. And a strategy that I practice is I don't load up my spoon or my fork with food until I've actually finished in my mouth. Because if I've got something waiting, I'm giving a message to my brain saying, hurry up, I've got something waiting here. And that will unconsciously force me to rush. what's in my mouth. So it's really coming back to mindful eating, which I've covered in previous Mind Body Mondays. So that's one trick. The other is actually to schedule time to eating. If you've ever timed a comfortable meal, it could be 20 to even 30 minutes. So schedule time to sit as relaxed as possible and enjoy your wholesome meal. Just a personal preference. Sometimes I may be hungry and I don't have the time, but I do need to eat. So what I will do is I'll make myself a quick protein-rich green smoothie, which is, so to speak, pre-digested because the blender chewed the food for me. However, I want to just highlight a mistake most people make, is that they assume that a smoothie can just be chugged down or drank down. And although it can be, it's not the best way to do it, because a very important stage of digestion occurs in the mouth with the saliva enzymes, amylase and ptyalin. These salivary enzymes break down important carbohydrates that cannot be broken down in the stomach with the enzymes. So even though you may have a nutritious smoothie, it's really important to chew it and even swish it around your mouth so it mixes very, very well with saliva, and you'll get to enjoy all the taste and subtleties of texture in your smoothie. And then swallowing it, your body will really receive that gift. Your digestive enzymes can do the rest. It will be absorbed into your bloodstream to lead to a strong, healthy, vital body, and a much easier ability for your body to fight off and prevent disease. So that's a sort of a hack that I do specifically if I don't have enough time. So let's look at a second relatively common reason for bloating that can be easily avoided. And that is what I ask my patients is, do you have a FODMAP intolerance? FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and palols. And that's why it's called FODMAP, FODMAP. And this is a food group of fermentable sugars found in foods like onions, cabbage, beans, apples, rye, and actually quite a lot of other foods. So unfortunately for some people, these sugars are not digested at all or digested very poorly. And these short chain sugars are contained in many foods and are not broken down fully. This means that these sugars end up in the gut, move into the area where the microbiome and the gut bacteria are, and that will cause irritation in the gut lining and could be a major cause of bloating and discomfort because the body is not able to adequately digest these foods. Now, I do treat people who are on this FODMAP diet, but still they have bloating issues. So before I look at other more complex and expensive strategies, I have them do a FODMAP elimination diet. And once they do that elimination diet and go off those foods as well, supporting them so they're not on too much of a restricted program, then most of their discomfort, gastric discomfort, is relieved. So that's number two. Let's look at number three, the third reason that could be causing bloating and discomfort. This may come as a surprise to a lot of you, is that if people are sleeping and eating at strange times. Now, what do I mean by that? There's some fascinating research about the gut microbiome having its own circadian rhythm. Just as our brain has its, and our body has its own circadian rhythm, that's the rhythm as it relates to the 24-hour clock, as it's affected by the light and dark in our daily pattern. But the bugs in our gut also have a circadian rhythm. And when we're sleeping, certain populations increase, and when we are awake, other populations increase and flourish. So this normal part of a healthy microbiome circadian rhythm gets disrupted when people sleep at irregular times and also late times, or eat late, aside from other issues resulting from eating late and then going to bed, which I'm not going to get into now. But it also disrupts the circadian rhythm of the gut flora. And as a result, that could lead to bloating and other digestive trouble as well. So the good news is this is easily fixable by experimenting. And this is what I tell my patients: to have a regular sleep pattern, if whenever possible, is to have fixed times of sleep. Not only there's a healthy lifestyle habit, but it'll also ensure that the circadian rhythms of the microbiome are in ascendance at the right time in the evening, and those during waking hours are flourishing in their hours, and they don't get out of whack. So this sleep cycle, getting your sleep cycle right, is another strategy to sort out bloating. Okay, let's look at reason number 4 why. Reason number 4 what that can cause bloating in the gut. And this is really something I experience too, and take measures to avoid it or mitigate it wherever possible. And this is to avoid eating when stressed. Because of the gut-brain connection, eating when stressed has shown to majorly disrupt the digestive system. This is because stress activates the sympathetic nervous system, the fight and flight nervous system, where stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline are secreted. And what happens is that blood is shunted away from the digestive system to the limbs, like the large muscles, like the legs and the arms. And this is done by design to keep us safe. So if we need to run away from danger or move quickly to save a situation, then we don't need to be digesting food at that time. So the body wisely shunts the energy and the blood supply to the limbs so we can be activated then. The consequences is a shutting down of the digestive system. And not only this, that is the blood supply shunted, but the digestive enzymes are also turned off because it's not necessary at this time. So what needs to be done is really for a person to do some self-soothing strategies, calm down. And one of my favorite strategies is really to use the breath. And that's what we experimented with just a little bit earlier in today's Mind Body Monday. And one of the quickest ways to calm down the sympathetic nervous system and raise the parasympathetic nervous system, which is called the rest and digest part of our nervous system, is to take some slow, deeper breaths. And there's a breathing technique called the 4-7-8 pattern. And it's pretty simple to do. And why don't we just try it all together now? So sitting up in your chairs, relaxing your shoulders. I'll give you the instruction first, and we'll have a practice. So what you can do is take a night. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe in for the count of 4. You're going to hold your breath for the count of 7. And then you'll breathe out through pursed lips for the count of 8. Now, for some people, breathing in 4 is difficult. For some people, holding for 7 is difficult. And for some people, breathing out for 8 is their challenge. So work well within your comfort zone. Do what you can. The idea is to have the out breath slightly longer than your hold breath or your in breath. So remember, it's breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and breathing out for 8. This will calm down the sympathetic nervous system, tone up the parasympathetic nervous system, stimulate your vagus nerve, which will then calm the brain, and most importantly, settle the gut, because the vagus nerve is one of the 12 nerves from the brain that supplies most of the gut with its nerve food. So it's very important to eat wherever possible in a stress-free state of mind, chewing thoroughly, taking your time, enjoying your foods, eating mindfully. And this quick breathing exercise will help settle and focus yourself. So let's do it quickly. So it's 4, 7, and 8. So when you're ready, I'll count you through. Breathing in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for 7 if you can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And a long out breath through pursed lips for 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and breathe normally. Well done. I'm just curious, type in the chat what you noticed, what was easy, what was hard, what did you notice during this 4, 7, 8 breathing technique. Off you go. What did you notice? So my patients, I suggest to my patients to do this exercise at least three times before a meal, as this really sets the gut up and the mind in the most optimal frame to digest, because it stimulates that rest and digestive part of our nervous system. Excellent. Very good. So this is that was the fourth reason about the gut-brain connection and not eating when we're stressed, and why that could be harmful, and a quick fix to what to do about it. The last reason, the fifth reason why excessive air can be trapped or caused in the digestive system is really because of overeating. People forget that the stomach is only as large as the size of each person's fist, which is not very big. Now, although it can stretch, but it's not designed to be stuffed. And the best thing is really to eat to about 3/4 full. A good way to do that is to chew your food well, enjoy your food, and even put a soft hand on your belly as you eat. And this will give you physical feedback to your body, to your brain, to get a sense of how you're doing. We're not, Baruch Hashem, going to suffer from starvation. So if you are hungry later on, you can always have a bigger breakfast. The idea here is to eat until you're 3/4 full. And that way, your body will be able to fully digest, absorb, and absorb all the nutrients into your bloodstream and give you the health and the vitality and energy that we all so need. So that is a quick summary of some of the strategies, the do's and don'ts, and myth busting of how to have a great digestion without excessive gas, whatnot. If you missed my announcement at the beginning, I'm very excited to share with you, I'm going to be starting my long-awaited Heal Your Gut program. So if you're interested to learn more about Heal Your Gut program, just type interested in the chat, and then I'll come back to you with some more info if you want. So thanks once again for joining me on Mind Body Monday. Just remember that all it takes is one small step to enhance your health and well-being in mind, body, and spirit. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one.